breakfast with a pastor today. He asked me, how do you revitalize a church? How do you move it from plateaued or even declined to growing again? We talked for a while, but here's a summary of our conversation. To me, church growth is simple, but not easy, like getting in shape or getting out of debt. The steps are simple, but not easy to do. You eat less, and you move more if you want to get in shape, and you spend less, and you earn more if you want to get out of debt. Simple things to do, but they aren't easy. Church growth is the same. To me, there's three factors that determine the growth of a congregation. They are attraction, assimilation, and attrition. You must take a church from invisible to visible in your community and attract new people to your church. You must assimilate these people into a relationship with Christ and your congregation. You must keep these people in community, growing, serving, and giving, or they will leave your church, which is attrition. Of those three factors, for a church that needs revitalization, the greatest need is attraction. You can't assimilate someone who's not coming, nor manage attrition if they're not there. One person put it this way: the total growth potential of your church is based on those who do not yet attend. So, what's the most effective way to get those who are not attending your church to attend? When it comes to attraction, the first thing the church has to do is get someone's attention. You have to go from being invisible in that person's mind to visible. Many times, we think we have a good location, a church sign, a website, a Facebook page, and that lets people know we're here. Unfortunately, it's not true. We have a Target Supercenter 5 minutes from my work. But if you asked me to list all the stores in that center, I could probably name only 6 of the 18 or 20 that are there. I pass the shopping complex multiple times a day. I'm sure they all have Facebook pages and websites, but most of these stores are still invisible to me. So getting the attention of the people in your area is the first step, but it doesn't stop there. Once a church gets the attention of a person, they now have to give them a compelling reason to attend. For those of us who've grown up in church, Sunday's just a day we've always gone to church. And we underestimate what it takes to get a person who has never attended the church to start attending. Here's an example. I used this with the pastor this morning at breakfast to help him understand how big the task is to get an unchurched person to attend their church. Imagine going to your existing congregation of committed believers and telling them you're going to start a weekly additional service that will be Saturday mornings from 10:30 to 12. You're going to start it and it's going to continue. It's never going to stop. You tell them there'll be worship, teach them to help them grow spiritually, and a great time of fellowship. If you started that service at your church today, how successful would it be? Most likely, it would fail. Why? Because the people in your congregation are busy on Saturdays during that time. They're doing yard work, sports with the kids, getting ready to watch football, or just relaxing from a hard week of work. They wouldn't rearrange their lives just to attend that service. Do you see the connection? The unchurched people in your community are not sitting around on Sunday morning bored with nothing to do. They are fully engaged in life. And for them to give up a Sunday morning and to attend your church is a huge step. And the very idea that mean they lose those Sunday morning hours for the rest of their life is a greater step for them than we may realize as a pastor or someone who's always grown up in church. That's why to reach those people who are not part of your church, you have to give them a compelling reason to come. Now we know the real reason is Jesus, and that their eternity is on the line. And what could be more compelling than that reason? But in reality, most of these people aren't aware of that. And the most effective way to reach them is to go through a felt need to take them to the real need. The felt need could be their marriage is in crisis, their kids are out of control, they feel financially overwhelmed, they recently lost a loved one, they're dealing with chronic illness in their life or the life of someone they love, or maybe they're just looking for purpose in life. See, each of those needs can be used to draw them to church where they can find the true need, the need that can only be met in Christ. Now, there are a lot of ways you can move people from invisible to visible in your community. There's TV, radio, billboard, to name a few. But to me, there is one method that stands out above all others. It is both time-tested and it's been proven effective, and that's direct mail. See, unlike the other methods, where you're wasting money reaching people who are too far geographically from your church to attend, with direct mail you have laser targeting to the neighborhoods you're wanting to reach. Because churches qualify for a special nonprofit postage rate, you can do this at an incredibly low cost. And printing has never been less expensive, so to reach every home is a very cost-effective thing to do. I planted a church in 1996. I was committed to moving our church from invisible to visible in our community and giving people a compelling reason why they should attend our church. So, when I started the church, I committed to not just launch the church with a mail out, but to do a mail out 3 times a year for the first 5 years. It was a huge investment for a young church. Now, I chose the times that people are most likely to visit a church: at Easter, back to school time, and Christmas time. I made sure that the direct mail piece was well written, graphically attractive, and gave the people a compelling reason to come to church during that time, which many times was a sermon series that was connected to one of those felt needs I talked about. Over the 5 years, we grew from a planting team of 22 people to over 600 in attendance. The vast majority of people who came to our church stated they came because of a direct mail piece they received. If you study church planting, you will see again and again the most effective tool for a church plant is to use a direct mail to launch that first service. If the most effective tool to start a church is direct mail, would it not make sense that the most effective tool to continue to grow as a church would also be direct mail? Direct mail is a very effective method, but it has its limitations. Most people receive a postcard, and within a few moments they discard it. In those moments, it still has value. You're building a top-of-the-mind awareness of your church in those people's minds. And the next time they receive a postcard, it will reinforce, again, that you're there. Now, here's an important point. Direct mail is more effective when you use it consistently over time. It has a cumulative effect, and that causes each mail out to be more effective than the one before, because you go from being a stranger or some church they've never seen to one they become more and more aware of. In my case, many people who attended our church, I would ask them how they found out about our church, and they would tell me it was a postcard they received. So I'd ask them which one, what series. An amazing thing, many would say, I don't really know. It seems like you've been sending them to us for a while, and we just decided if we ever decided to go to church, that would be the church that we attend. Do you see the cumulative value of direct mail over time? I had created a top-of-the-mind awareness of our church, and when something happened in their lives that caused them to look for a church, we were the church they decided to attend. I believe direct mail postcards over time are a very effective way to attract people to your church. It's a great way to reach out into your community. But I've recently found a tool that I think has all the advantages of postcards, but many advantages that postcards just can't offer. It's called the Shattered Edition. It's a 4-page, full-color mini magazine that can be mailed at the low non-postage rate. Because it's oversized, it has the advantage of being like a mega postcard. It stands out in the mail, and it won't get lost with the rest of the people's mail. On the front page, below the fold, where the address and the postage code is, there's a large advertisement, kind of like a mega postcard. And so they receive it, they see it right away. But unlike a postcard, above the fold there is an article that's related to the season that draws people in to want to read the story. So unlike a postcard where they may just toss it if they're not planning on attending the church anytime soon, they can keep the edition because the story looks interesting. And as they read the edition and open it up, there's 2 more compelling stories inside that share the real power of Christ to transform lives. These articles in themselves have an ability to make an impact for Christ. But the greatest advantage is its ability to communicate a large amount of information to those who receive it. See, the back page, you have a huge template, about 10 inches by 15 inches, in which you can share the story of the church or create a larger, more compelling ad that lets them know about the benefits and the things of the church that would be positive for them. So if they're interested and they want more information, they don't have to see a web address, find a computer, type it in, hope they type it right, and go to it. Instead, they just open it up, and there it is. The fact that it's a mini magazine and not a postcard gives it shelf life because people hang on to it to read the stories. Also, they'll pass it on to others who they may think will find the stories helpful. All these factors make it much more effective than a postcard, and it just has a small increase in price over a postcard. It is also mailed out 3 times a year. At the 3 times, people are more likely to try church before Easter, when the kids are returning from school, and Christmas time. If you're interested in finding out more about using the Shattered Edition at your church, I would love the opportunity to talk to you face to face, or we could chat online. I believe this is a powerful tool, and I believe it can help churches be more effective in reaching their communities for Christ. The Shattered Edition is limited to one church per zip code. So if you're interested, please let me know as soon as possible while your area is still available. If you're looking for a way to reach more people for Christ, to make an impact in your community, I think you would enjoy this tool, and I would sure enjoy talking to you about it.